Hello there, this is Heirs to the Kingdom channel, and in today's lesson, we're doing chapters 31 and 32 in the book of Numbers. If you're new to this, it's a Bible study channel going through the King James Bible, not skipping anything as scriptures command. So if you would, like, subscribe, and share this content, and we're going to go ahead and get started here. So last we left off, chapter 30 was talking about vows. That was the ending part of last lesson. If you want to know all of last lesson, please go watch it. But yeah, God holds everybody to the vows they make. We also know this in New Testament. This rule never went anywhere. Any and all vows someone makes, it didn't say specifically Israelites, it says anyone. The man or the woman makes. The man can trump her vows if it's her dad or her husband, and he hears her vows and says, nope, you ain't doing that. Or if he even just when he finds out about it goes, what? No, you ain't doing that. Then she's free and clear to not keep that vow. Now we do know there is a vow coming up of a man that asked God, if you'll let me win this battle, I'll sacrifice the first thing I see when I get to my home. And he thought it was going to be his dog, and it ended up being his daughter. And he kept his vow. The daughter knew that he had to keep his vow. And so she honored his vow. And the scriptures speak about it. So the scriptures teach us that is be careful what you vow, because God will hold you to that vow. Now, the term he used was sacrifice. He did not say murder. There's the difference between being, biblical or not. But the daughter was sacrificed. She just asked for to go a little time into the town with a certain thing on her to indicate that she was a maiden. But, she was, I can't remember what all she was doing. She was just going out, seeing the land, talking to people, whatever else. And she came back because she was wanting to honor her dad's vow. But we are to be careful the vows we make. I do not know if God would have says, no, if you break that vow, it's okay. I don't know if God would have said that or not in that situation. Scriptures say it in a way to teach us, be careful what you vow, because it may be held against you. If you're not ready for the vow of marriage, you better not do it. That's the simplest vow, but God holds you to it. Same thing as for politicians in America. They take the constitutional oath. That's a vow. And if you don't plan on keeping it, you better not do it. Why? Because God's going to hold you to it. And as long as you break that vow, you can't be forgiven that sin. So, vows are very important. You are to just be very careful what you promise God. We watch it in a lot of TV shows, like I like to watch the show MASH. And you have these where soldiers come in, talk to the Father McCahey, the Catholic priest there. And it says, they keep asking, says, hey, I promise God if he gets me through this, I'll become a priest. And it's like, it's okay. If everyone upheld that, then we'd have all priests and, no soldiers or no one else. But the simple fact of the matter is, that's wrong. That TV show is teaching wrong when it does that. You make a promise to God, you need to keep it. Now, becoming a preacher is something you're supposed to be called to do. And so I don't know how that would really work in that matter, but to become like a preacher or as dedicated as a preacher, you should keep that. Anyways, you get the idea. I'm going to move on from that. Be careful what you vow. Um, I do believe the way scriptures read that if you vow to sin, that God does not uphold that, because breaking that vow is a sin and keeping that vow is a sin. So, then we go back to, well, the guy killed his daughter, so he sacrificed his daughter. I don't know. Like I said, I don't think God would have held that against him if he would have said no. But he knew he had to keep his vow that he made, so he did it anyways. And the daughter knew about the vows and did not flee, so her dad could not keep his vow. Like I said, I can't speak for God in that manner. I'm just saying what I think in that. Scriptures never give us a definitive answer. But we are to, like I said, other part of Scripture says care, protect, the innocent, this, that, and the other, da-da-da. That's part of our job too. So there's a difference between an animal sacrifice and a human sacrifice. I do feel in my heart. That's what my heart tells me in that matter. But like I said, it's just a lesson in Old Testament for you to be careful what you vow. Anyways, let's continue on here. Starting in 31, we're going to be talking about the spoils of war. So 31 verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Average the children of Israel and the Midianites, afterward shalt thou be gathered unto thy people. And Moses spake unto the people, saying, Arm some of yourselves unto the war, and let them go against the Midianites, and avenge the Lord of Midian. And every tribe, 1,000 throughout all the tribe of Israel, shall ye send to the war. So there were delivered out of the thousands of Israel 1,000 of every tribe, 12,000 armed for war. And Moses sent them to the war, 1,000 of every tribe, them and Phinehas, the son of Eleazar the priest, to the war with the holy instruments and the trumpets to blow in his hand. Now Phinehas is the one that immediately killed the Israelite and the Moabitess woman to stop the plague. So I'm saying that he will more likely be the next high priest, because right now Aaron he has passed on. Eleazar, his son, is now the high priest. And now Phinehas is being talked about here. He was put, like Eleazar stays with the main part, and Phinehas is going with the company to fight the Midianites. Let's continue on here. And they warred against the Midianites as the Lord commanded Moses, and they slew all the males. And they slew the kings of Midian, beside the rest of them that were slain, namely Evi and Rechem and Zur and Hur and Reba, 5 kings of Midian. Balaam also the son of Beor they slew with the sword. Now, I don't know if this Balaam, I think this is if I remember correctly, this is the Balaam that God used to talk to, but he was not an Israelite, and he did disobey God at first. That's when the angel of the Lord stood between and wouldn't let his donkey go past, and then the angel of the Lord finally showed himself with a sword, fixing to slay Balaam himself. Like I said, his disobedience in that manner, it ain't going to be just that, because the Midianites, they passed children through fire. All these that when God says go and destroy all of them, it's because they've been brought under judgment. They pass children through fire. They kill innocent children, burning them alive, worshiping a false god. And so that's why this is happening. And Israelite gets the land of Canaan to later be called Israel, because God's bringing all the inhabitants of that land, because they all do this under punishment. And Balaam evidently was in that area. He may not have partook, but it never talks about him trying to stop it either. Normally, if you can't stop something, you flee a land and you don't go back to it. Like I said, the scriptures teach that you're guilty of every sin you do, support, and help create. And if you're just a bystander watching it and not really doing much about it, it's kind of held against you as well, because you know it's wrong and you're not saying anything to stop it. But because Balaam's the only name we've heard of so far, being the one prophet that God spoke to, trying to curse the Israelites with the other king that I can't remember that king. Balak was the name of the king. I can't remember what the people were, but anyways. Continue on here, verse 9. And the children of Israel took all the women of Midian captives and their little ones, and took the spoil of all their cattle and all their flocks and all their goods. And they burnt all their cities wherein they dwelt, and all their goodly castles with fire. And they took all the spoil and all the prey, both of men and of beasts. So later on, God's going to be telling them, says, no, you're going to kill all of them. They're being brought under judgment. So right now they just slew all the males, and the wartime in these the wars in these times, you kept the women and children as slaves, and or they became wives and stuff like that. The children wouldn't be, because they're not from your lineage, but the women can produce children. And Old Testament, New Testament times allows harems, but also they're to learn from their past mistakes, that don't let strange people bring their gods into your home. Let's continue on here, verse 12. And they brought the captives and the prey and the spoil unto Moses and Eleazar the priest, and unto the congregation of the children of Israel, unto the camp at the plains of Moab, which are by Jordan near Jericho. Now here we're still not in the land of Canaan. We're on the other side of the Jordan River. The River Jordan. Jordan River, Israel. But these people still, they attacked the Israelites. I don't know if these people specifically, let's keep reading here to find out what God says about this. And Moses and Eleazar the priest and all the princes of the congregation went forth to meet them without the camp. And Moses was wroth with the officers of the host, with the captains over the thousands and captains over hundreds, which came from the battle. And Moses said unto them, have ye saved all the women alive? Okay, so they were commanded to kill all, so that means these people also passed children through fire. But men have a hard time killing women. We're just going to face facts on that. That's a hard thing for a man to do. Killing if you're in a soldier situation and you're having to fight for your life against other men or this, that, and the other soldiers, that's one thing. But then you go into a camp and there's just people there, they can't really fend for themselves. That's something else. But like I said, God says, you are the tip of my sword, tip of my spear, being used to bring judgment on the land. That means all must suffer because of what? Right now, we're still under the rules that which God changes later at the end of Old Testament, that the sins of the father falls to the family. Israelite families already perished with their husbands that sinned against God. So no one's privy to this. No one gets out of this type thing. But verse 16, behold, these caused the children of Israel through the counsel of Balaam to commit trespass against the Lord in the matter of Peor, and there was a plague among the congregation of the Lord. Now therefore kill every male among the little ones, and kill every woman that hath known a man by lying with him. So the maids, the virgins, not kill. Because the boy's going to grow up and be a thorn in their side, and the women that's already known a man, remember, wives were normally around the ages of 15 in these times. So, but she's already set in her ways. She's going to try to lead the men to their side instead of following the men. Anyways, continue on 18. But all the women, children that have not known a man by lying with him, keep alive for yourselves. And do ye abide without the camp 7 days. Whosoever hath killed any person, and whosoever hath touched any slain, purify both yourselves and your captives on the 3rd day and on the 7th day. So the people of war, they definitely got dead people stuff on them. You get the idea. It's war. Verse 20. And purify all your raiment, and all that is made of skins, and all work of goat's hair, and all things made of wood. And Eleazar the priest said unto the men of war which went to the battle, This is the ordinance of the law which the Lord commanded Moses. Only the gold and the silver and the brass, the iron, the tin, and the lead, everything that may abide the fire, ye shall make it go through the fire, and it shall be clean. Nevertheless, it shall be purified with the water of separation, and all that abideth not the fire ye shall make go through the water. And ye shall wash your clothes on the seventh day, and ye shall be clean, and afterward ye shall come into the camp. So these also the women here, I don't know, it didn't say that they passed jars of fire. It says these are the women that came in and started, caused a plague before by the Israelite men doing whoredoms with them, because, it's kind of like in today's world, you got Christians and then you have society in America, and women in society of America will sleep with anybody. A real Christian woman won't. And that's the difference. Like, so modern women today, almost all around the world now, they'll sleep with, 100-something dudes. It don't matter. They don't care. And that's what these type of women are. God says it's doing whoredoms. So if you're one of those women, this, that, and the other, living that lifestyle, guess what? It's a wrong. Period. Now, in New Testament, New Covenant, you can easily be forgiven those sins, but you have to change how you live. And so, scriptures command it. Even in Old Testament times, you have to change. You can't keep living that way. But let's continue on here. Verse 25. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Take the sum of the prey that was taken, both of man and of beast, thou and Eleazar the priest, and the chief fathers of the congregation, and divide the prey into 2 parts between them that took the war upon them, who went out to battle, and between all the congregation, and levy a tribute unto the Lord of the men of war which went out to battle, 1 soul of 500, both of the persons and of the beeves, and of the asses and of the sheep. Take it of their half, and give it unto Eleazar the priest for an heave offering unto the Lord. And of the children of Israel's half thou shalt take 1 portion of 50 of the persons of the beeves, of the asses, and of the flocks, of all manner of beasts, and give them unto the Levites which keep the charge of the tabernacle of the Lord. And Moses and Eleazar the priest did as the Lord commanded Moses. And the booty, being the rest of the prey which the men of war had caught, was 600,000 and 70,000 and 5,000 sheep, and 312,000 beeves, and 301,000 asses, and 32,000 persons in all, of woman that had not known man by lying with him, and the half which was the portion of them that went out to war was in number 300,007 and 30,500 sheep. And the Lord's tribute of the sheep was 615. And the beeves were 36,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 312. And the asses were 30,500, which is the Lord's tribute was 301. And the persons were 16,000, of which the Lord's tribute was 32 persons. And Moses gave the tribute which was the Lord's heave offering unto Eleazar the priest, as the Lord commanded Moses. And of the children of Israel's half, which Moses divided from the men that warred, now the half that pertained unto the congregation was 300,000 and 30,000 and 7,500 sheep, and 36,000 beeves, and 30,000 asses, and 500 and 16,000 persons. Even the children of Israel's half, Moses took one portion of 50, both of man and of beast, and gave them unto the Levites, which kept the charge of the tabernacle of the Lord, as the Lord commanded Moses. And the officers which were over thousands of the host, the captains of thousands, and the captains of hundreds, came near unto Moses. And they said unto Moses, Thy servants have taken the sum of the men of war which are under our charge, and there lacketh not one man of us. They didn't lose one person in the battle. Why? Because God was with them. God says, go do this. They did. It says none of them died. 50. We have therefore brought an oblation for the Lord, that every man hath gotten of jewels, of gold, chains and bracelets, rings, earrings, and tablets, to make an atonement for our souls before the Lord. And Moses and Eleazar the priest took the gold of them, even all wrought jewels, and all the gold of the offering that they offered up to the Lord of the captains of thousands and of the captains of hundreds, was 16,750 shekels. For the men of war had taken spoil every man for himself. And Moses and Eleazar the priest took the gold of the captains of thousands and of hundreds, and brought it into the tabernacle of the congregation for a memorial for the children of Israel before the Lord. Chapter 32. Now the children of Reuben and the children of Gad had a very great multitude of cattle. And when they saw the land of Gezer and the land of Gilead, that behold, the place was a place for cattle, the children of Gad and the children of Reuben came and spake unto Moses and to Eleazar the priest and unto the princes of the congregation, saying, Adaroth and Dibon and Jazer and Nimrah and Heshbon and Eliel, and Shebam and Nebo and Beon, even the country which the Lord smote before the congregation of Israel, is a land for cattle, and thy servants have cattle. Wherefore said they, If we have found grace in thy sight, let this land be given unto thy servants for a possession, and bring us not over Jordan. And Moses said unto the children of Gad and to the children of Reuben, Shall your brethren go to war, and shall ye sit here? Because, after they cross the Jordan, they got to fight everything in there so they take the land. Also, God says this is going to happen because the people there are going to be they're being brought under judgment for the sins they've committed. They've done over 400 years of murdering innocent children, passing them through fire. God says enough is enough. It's time for you all to leave, and everything that is about you to leave this earth. That's what's going to happen here. But anyways, verse 7. And wherefore discourage ye the heart of the children of Israel from going over into the land which the Lord hath given them. Thus did your fathers when I sent them from Kadesh Barnea to see the land. For when they went up into the valley of Eshcol and saw the land, they discouraged the heart of the children of Israel, and they should not go into the land which the Lord hath given them. And the Lord's anger was kindled the same time, and he sware, saying, Surely none of the men that came up out of Egypt from 20 years old and upward shall see the land which I swear unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob, because they have not wholly followed me. Save Caleb the son of Jephunneh the Kenizzite, and Joshua the son of Nun, for they have wholly followed the Lord. And the Lord's anger was kindled against Israel, and he made them wander in the wilderness 40 years, until all the generations that had done evil in the sight of the Lord was consumed. And behold, ye are risen up in your father's stead, an increase of sinful men, to augment. I'm sorry, that word is strange to me. Okay, to augment yet the fierce anger of the Lord toward Israel. Yeah, we use that word today as my dyslexia kicked in, sorry. 15. For if ye turn away from after him, he will yet again leave them in the wilderness, and ye shall destroy all this people. And they came near unto him and said, We will build sheepfolds here for our cattle, and cities for our little ones. But we ourselves will go ready armed before the children of Israel until we have brought them unto their place, and our little ones shall dwell in the fenced cities because of the inhabitants of the land. We will not return unto our houses until the children of Israel have inherited every man his inheritance. For we will not inherit with them on yonder side Jordan or forward, because our inheritance is fallen to us on this side Jordan eastward. And Moses said unto them, If ye will do this thing, if ye will go armed before the Lord to war, and will go all of you armed over Jordan before the Lord, until he hath driven out his enemies from before him, and the land be subdued before the Lord, then afterward ye shall return and be guiltless before the Lord and before Israel, and this land shall be your possession before the Lord. Now remember, this is soldiers 20 years old and upwards, so the people that's going to be left are going to be teenage men. They're still men, but they're not men of war yet. They will stay behind and help take care of the families, this, that, and the other. So while they're out there battling for the rest, these boys are going to grow up, and then they're going to start taking wives and having children. So life's going to keep on, and then the men that survive, they're going to come back and continue on in the land, of this area for cattle. Because, it's the Bible teaches us that, not everybody did the same. Most people think a farm today, whatever, you need cattle, you need goats, you need donkeys, you need this, you need that. It says farms throughout most of all history, people specialized in one thing, and then they shared and traded with each other. Like one did cattle, one did sheep, one did goats, one did donkeys, one grew nothing but corn, one grew nothing but whatever else, one had, we kind of still do this today, having your orchards of this, that, and the other. So if you're trying to do it all at once and stuff, you will never rest, and you'll just hate life because you'll just be doing way too much, too many different things instead of specializing in one. And we still do our economy in this way. We have machinists working over here. We have engineers working over there. We have fabricators working over here and there, whatever, this, that, and the other. People doing certain things, and then they trade amongst each other. That's just how things have always worked. But anyways, let's continue on here, 23. But if ye will not do so, behold, ye have sinned against the Lord, and be sure your sin will find you out. Build your cities for your little ones, and folds for your sheep, and do that which hath proceeded out of your mouth. And the children of Gad and the children of Reuben spake unto Moses, saying, Thy servants will do as my Lord commandeth. Our little ones, our wives, our flocks, and all our cattle shall be there in the cities of Gilead. But thy servants will pass over every man armed for war before the Lord to battle, as my Lord saith. So concerning them Moses commanded Eleazar the priest, and Joshua the son of Nun, and the chief fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel. And Moses said unto them, If the children of Gad and the children of Reuben will pass with you over Jordan, every man armed to battle before the Lord, and the land shall be subdued before you, then ye shall give them the land of Gilead for a possession. But if they will not pass over with you armed, they shall have possessions among you in the land of Canaan. And the children of Gad and the children of Reuben answered, saying, As the Lord hath said unto thy servants, so will we do. We will pass over armed before the Lord into the land of Canaan, that the possession of our inheritance on this side Jordan may be ours. And Moses gave unto them, even to the children of Gad, and to the children of Reuben, and unto half the tribe of Manasseh, the son of Joseph, the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorites, and the kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, the land with the cities thereof in the coast, even the cities of the country round about. And the children of Gad built Dibon, and Ataroth, and Aroer. Aroer? I don't know how you would say that fast. Aroer? Whatever. 35. And Atroth, Sophan, and Gazer, and Jogbehah, and Beth Nimrah, and Beth Haran, fenced cities and folds for sheep. And the children of Reuben built Heshbon and Aliyah, and Kirjathim. Let's go with that. And Nebo and Baal Meon, their names being changed, and Shibmah, and gave other names unto the cities which they builded. So these were the names originally, then they changed all the names once they, made it theirs. 39. And the children of Machir, the son of Manasseh, went into Gilead and took it and dispossessed the Amorite which was in it. And Moses gave Gilead unto Machir, the son of Manasseh, and he dwelt therein. And Jair, the son of Manasseh, went and took the small towns thereof, and called them Havoth Jair. And Nobah went and took Kenath and the villages thereof, and called it Nobah, after his own name. And of course, that's the end of this lesson. I talked a little too much in the beginning, so yeah, I'm a little over 30-minute mark. Sorry about that. It's just, the vows thing is very important. That still stands today. We're under a different commandment for when people do wrong. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. You are to keep your cities safe, your people safe, your area safe, your home safe. You're allowed to defend yourself. But avenging or, becoming a vigilante stuff, that's no longer a thing, because vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. If someone is not punished in society properly, God says don't worry about it too much. They will get theirs at his hand. That's what that's meaning. But anyways, vows are very important. We have too many people today breaking vows, and they think that they can enter the kingdom of heaven while continually breaking vows. And you can't. These are things we all are to pray about to make sure we are keeping ours. When you become a Christian, you vow to serve the Lord. Are you keeping your vow? Or if you're married, are you keeping your vows? To honor and forsake all others in sickness and in health, rich or poor, till death do you part. Love, honor, and forsake all others. That means if you women have a husband, don't matter who else is out there in the world, you love and honor your husband, and the husband vice versa, his wife. Other people don't come between you two. But also you have to do your parts as husband and as wife. But anyways, these are things to pray about. Our cities, our societies, our culture in America is crumbling because we don't have families anymore, because we don't have marriage anymore, we don't have honor anymore. We have to pray. God's the only one that can save this country from its destruction. But the people have to want what God has to offer. And that's why we pray. The lost, the found, yourself, others, all people, all nations, everywhere. Not just America, but everywhere. Everywhere needs prayer, same as the same. And don't forget to give God all the praise, glory, and worship, and thanks and everything, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the indifferent. So I'm going to go ahead and end this lesson here. Hope everyone's having a good Wednesday. If you got church tonight like I do, hope you have a great message and a great time with your congregation. So until next time, God bless, good day, and goodbye.